Hello, this is Wednesday 13 from many, many bands, Murderdolls, Frankenstein Drag Queens, and myself, Wednesday 13. And you are listening to Magazine. Yeah!
So, just to jump right in, it's been almost a year and a half since the last album, Condolences, was released. How are you feeling having to sit with it, not having to sit with it, but sitting with it this long? Is there anything that you would do differently?
Absolutely not. No, that record turned out, it kind of, like every record I do, you go on with an idea with every record, and it always comes out a little different, and Condolences was one I had an idea of what I thought it would be, but it turned out to be a bigger monster than I thought. It just started like creating itself. It's like weird science. Like it's creating itself, Wyatt. It's making itself. So it was like that kind of thing. But sitting back on it, I still love the record. All my records, I try to make them all different. They're all different from each other, and the new one's going to be totally different than Condolences. But after sitting with it since its release, and we had it recorded almost 8 months before it came out, so it's kind of old to us now.
Yeah.
But I still love it. And that's, to me, if I can listen to something that long and still not hate it, because there are some songs I've recorded in the past that just, I won't say I hate, I just don't like to perform, or I can skip it.
Right.
Yeah.
And you went in a heavier direction with this one, and I heard you say you were listening to a lot of Testament at the time. Was there anything else in that genre that you were fond of?
Testament wasn't just I've always listened to Testament. Like, for me, I'm a glam rock guy. I started out, with Kiss, Alice Cooper, Twisted Sister, Wasp, and I got into all the up-and-coming bands during, like, when Dr. Feelgood was huge. There was all the up-and-coming bands like Bang Tango and all those, and I could write those guys letters and they'd write me back. So those guys were. So that was a big thing I was really into as a kid. And then, but there were heavy bands that also were on my radar. Like, I loved Anthrax. I had State of Euphoria. I had before John Bush joined the band, I had Persistence at the Time. I liked Testament, Souls of Black. I like I like Megadeth. So I didn't like everything.
Right.
I didn't get Slayer then. Slayer was a little too evil for me. Although I am a Slayer fiend now. But so I kind of worked a little bit of metal into my glam rock, which I think is why my music has always kind of had that punk, almost metal tone to it, because I've always liked a little bit of both,
Right. And you said recently too that you stopped being a music snob.
Oh yeah.
What have you gotten into that surprised you?
Everything. I mean, when I say I was a music snob, that was my, teenage years, early 20s. It was just one of those things where if it didn't have an image to it, I usually wouldn't look at it. If it wasn't punk and didn't have the word "fuck" on the back somewhere, I probably wouldn't buy it. But when I joined Murderdolls and just started hanging out with different musicians and meeting different musicians and playing these huge, massive festivals and sitting on the side and watching someone like Weezer, for example, a band that I could care less about. They were popular, and I just hated them because they were popular. No reason. And then I watch them, and I'm like, man, this band's great. They got great songs, and it was that. It's been a long time of just evolving, and then just listening to everything. I mean, like, for me, when I'm in a bad mood, or not in a bad mood, or in a great mood, like in the mornings, I like to put on Curtis Mayfield and vacuum.
Okay.
That's weird. I bet that'd be a good video for people to see. But Curtis Mayfield, when I'm on an airplane and we hit turbulence and I start getting nervous and my hands start getting wet or from sweating, I can put on Curtis Mayfield and it calms me down. It's amazing. I love old 70s R&B blues stuff like that, and so just for me, just listening to everything from, let's say, Curtis Mayfield to Carcass,
right,
and that's where Wednesday 13 is now. We have no rules. That's why Condolences, you have a song like Cruel to You that could be a Motley Crue sounding song, and then you got Pray For Me that could be a Devin Townsend or a Testament song, or you know what I mean. So I've just literally, all of our influences just come out in our music, and it's really cool to do what we do because not a lot of people do what we do or look the way we do. So we figure we might as well just match it with the music. The music's all over the place. Our image, we're like, some people see black metal, some people see rock and roll, some people see Kiss, some people see Alice Cooper, some people, I don't know what they see, but we try to put it all out there, and it's just we're the mutts of metal, punk, and rock.
And it's fun.
And it's fun, and we keep it fun.
Yeah. So, but given the release cycle of Wednesday 13 and what's already been said in the press, you guys should be recording or have recorded or planning to go into the studio. Where do you stand with that?
As soon as this tour is done, we have it ends on the 24th in Los Angeles, and we are in the studio December 5th. So I literally have, a week and a half before we start tracking drums. We start December 5th. Deadline is January 15th, so we'll have it wrapped up. We've already written the record. We started writing it we started writing it, pieces of it earlier this year, but we've sat down as a band and in a room and hashed out all of our ideas in September, and we've got the full album now. I've got the title. I'm already working with the artist now, so I'm ahead of the game, whereas Condolences, I had literally less than 2 weeks to get the album art, band photo, everything turned in time. So I'm proud of that record, but if I'd had a little more time in the artwork department, I love the artwork.
Yes.
The Travis did a great job. I'm just saying, like, that band photo was the only band photo that we had to look at to approve, and went, well, we got to meet the deadline. So we had like a million pictures to choose. So it was kind of like we had to meet that deadline, and so I just didn't have as much time as I am with this record. Where this record, I'm doing everything ahead of time. We've got awesome management now, and they're getting me in line where I don't have to do everything last minute. Because I've literally been managing myself for the past 3 or 4 years, and we just picked up management this year, and things have been stellar and the way it should be.
Also, on another project, the Murderdolls, there's some talk out there on some websites about a 2021 release of a new album. Is there any truth to that?
There's a lot of rumors out there. I read them myself every day. I laugh at most of them. But the cool thing that happened this year was I actually was in touch with Joey. I actually went to his home. We hung out for a couple hours for 2 days during Memorial Day weekend during my tour last year, and that was the first time I've seen him since 2011. And we just sat and talked. We didn't spend like a full day together. We had a couple hours just hanging out and talked, and we both reminisced of the old days, and he and I both said, well, what about doing it again in the future? And he's like, I'd love to do it. And I was like, me too. And my thought on it was, if we do it again, the whole reason that band started was for fun. And the whole reason if we should do it again should be for fun. Right. And for the fans, because the fans really didn't get a chance to see it. That band's been around since 2002, but only has 2 albums out and did maybe 100 shows. Yeah. So it's, the fans never really got to see it. And so for me, I would think, not to compare us to that, but like when the Misfits, when I heard that Jerry and Glenn were back together, I was like, are you kidding me? And they just did one big show, and everybody in the world came to it. Yeah. And then they just laid low. And here's another one. Yeah. No one's expecting the Misfits to get back in the studio to do a new recording. They were just excited to hear those songs. And to me, I would like to take that approach and say, hey, let's do a show in this town or this city or this country, and try it that way. And if we're having a great time and we've did this for a year, and we go, hey, you know what, let's do a new record, then we'll come to that. But I think first it should be testing the waters and going out and doing shows for fun, because no one's seen us. You know?
Yeah. Obviously, you like horror and the macabre. You've probably been asked a million times what your favorite horror movies are.
Yes.
So I'm going to try to take a different angle on that and say, can you name 3 movies that actually scared you?
Yes. The Shining, Nightmare on Elm Street 1, as a kid. Scared me because I was a child when I saw it. And a lot of people don't know about this movie. It's not considered a horror movie, but it's the first movie that ever terrified me. It's on my bus right now. It's a Chuck Norris film called Silent Rage from 1981 or 82. Can't remember. It's one of the first movies I saw. I don't know who directed it. I want to find out more about it. But the guy was obviously a Halloween and Frankenstein fan, because it's literally Chuck Norris playing this Andy Griffith kind of ranger.
Okay.
And there's this guy that he killed that this doctor brings back to life and cannot die, and he keeps coming out at night killing people, and Chuck Norris has to fight this guy, and he's literally like, they shoot him 15 times and he heals up and he's ready to fight again. And it was like the ultimate martial arts meets, and this guy terrified me. So imagine being a 6-year-old kid, and so check out Silent Rage. The killer's name in the movie was John Kirby. And I just watched it just the other day, and it still gave me the fucking creeps. You know, that guy, I still can't, he's not wearing a mask, he just looks like a creep. So, yeah, that's the 3 movies that scared me, and when I still see them, those little girls in The Shining, the cinematography of that movie is just eerie.
The woman in the bathtub.
Oh, yeah, the whole movie.
Okay, so let's wrap this up with a Kiss question.
All right.
No doubt you've probably heard of the End of the Road tour.
Yes, I have.
Are you going to have a chance to see a show?
I hope so. Actually, I just talked to someone that said I could hook you up. I'm like, okay. But no, I heard about it. I was there for the 96 reunion. Yeah, Kiss, was the first band that I had seen a photo of but never heard their music. I was so young. My brother was putting the Destroyer puzzle together on a piece of cardboard and gluing it, making a poster, and he hung it on the wall in our little tiny trailer we lived in. And I would just sit on his bed and just stare at this picture, because I didn't know what they were. They looked like superheroes with long hair, but they also, living in the Bible Belt of North Carolina, they looked, you felt like, oh, they're scary. They play rock, because rock music was considered satanic and evil. It was, so I was just mesmerized by them. So, and then my brother got out of them, and then for my birthday, he gave me like the Kiss dolls, like half naked in a lunch bag. And I ended up making them be like monsters that attacked my G.I. Joes. And then I got into Kiss. And so, yeah, man, I've been the original Kiss, the original band. I love it. I love some of the 80s stuff, not as much. I do think Revenge is the best thing they did in the non-makeup years. Yeah. I love that record. I saw that tour. And then I saw the reunion tour. I'm excited to see them again. Kiss is the reason I look the way I look. This is Alice Cooper and Kiss. You're responsible for this. I blame you, and thank you.